Hi, Future Stu here. The video you're about to watch, I decided to set up a couple of cameras so I can have a bit of fun with different camera angles during the video. The quality isn't great, but I wanted to give you a genuine reaction to questions that I'd received. So I'm posting it anyway. So forgive the quality. I apologize for that. I was just trying out a new sort of idea, really. Anyway, back to the video. See you later. Hi, hope you're all doing well. Recently, I asked the community to throw some questions my way regarding the studio and the industry. Hi, we've not met yet. My name is Stuart. I've been a session musician and a producer for many years. So I asked you, what do you want to know? Here are some of the questions I got from you. Now, I've pulled them up here on the screen, but I haven't actually sat down to prep any script answers for these. I wanted to just react to them. I want to give you my honest thoughts in the moment. So let's see what we got and let's get stuck in. Okay, question one. As a pro engineer, does AI mixing and mastering worry you, or is it just another tool to be used? Well, it's a very yes and no answer, really. The concerning parts are there's websites out there where you can just put in, I want a song and I want it to say, I love Deborah. And it comes back with a fully produced, completed song, everything played 100%. But it's got no life to it. There's no sort of heart or soul behind it. It's okay. But I mean, I've been playing music since 1986. And to me, that is the enjoyment. As you know, I can't sing. So to counteract that, I use a bit of software called SynthV. And that is an AI-based vocal software that I can input each word and tell it where, when, and how I want it to sing. But I'm inputting that. So it's a little bit like creating a piano track using MIDI and programming it on screen. I see that as great. That's superb because from my point of view, I can write the song, I can produce a song, and I can send it off to a singer and say, this is roughly how I want the song to sound. Rather than me trying to do a really bad guy's vocal and the singer not really having a clue what I'm talking about. So from that point of view, yeah, it's really, really good. And I can see it if you are a singer-songwriter, you can now have the idea in your head and you can give these websites your song lyrics or even your vocal singing those song lyrics, and it will generate some music around it, which I think could be used really well as a demo to send off to a producer like myself to then fully produce it out using real instruments or playing real instruments. That way it works really well. What I don't agree with is someone sat at the computer who can't necessarily even play music, has never played music, doesn't have any of the gear or anything like that, and literally they can then release a song. They don't even necessarily have a great thing they want to say. They just want to release a song. So that I don't agree with. Does it worry me? I can see where it's going, and performance-wise, eventually I can see that the AI will perform a track better than a real musician can, but it still won't have the heart and soul of it. We can, anyone can play sort of, well, not anyone can play. If you've got 3 chords, C, F, and G, say, for argument's sake, it's, well, C, F, and G. So you got that. There's no life soul in it. It's all the same. But if you get a real musician playing it, he might play it like. Sort of thing. So I think it's a great tool that can be used to back up what you're trying to achieve. I think there's places for it. I think if it's used correctly, yeah, great. But I don't agree with it being released as a standalone. Everything is done by a computer with no manual input at all. That bit worries me. Because you hear it all the time at the moment about how, the top 5 songs in certain charts are all AI. And it's all a numbers thing. It's suddenly taken away from. Why are you going at? Sorry, I've just noticed that my process is really high. But anyway, distracted. Yeah. If it's used to just generate income, then I disagree with it. If someone is using it to enhance their artistry, I have no problem with it at all. None whatsoever. I kind of went 50-50 there, didn't I? Does it worry me? Yes. Does it worry me? No. Does it bother me? Yes and no. Sorry. Didn't really answer your question at all. But you get a background of where I'm looking. So, right. Let's move on to the next question. Can anyone release music at a good enough standard, or do you need expensive equipment? Okay. Do you need expensive equipment? No. You really don't. If you're a guitarist, any guitar, you can create a sound which is good enough to release. You've got on your DAWs, I use Studio One, as you know, or Studio Pro. The stock plugins which come with it are more than good enough for anything you need to release a song. Now, if you're doing MIDI drums, for argument's sake, I don't think Studio One is particularly great at their sampling of their sounds. But the new Mustang Native plugin for guitar amps, that's fine. It's not the best one out there, but it's fine. You can get a perfectly decent sound out of that. Doesn't cost you any extra money. They've got the Bass Native plugin, which is great. Well, great. It's fine also. they've got a whole load of synth sounds which work okay. Their Presence plugin has pianos, orchestral. All right, it's not the best orchestral thing in the world, but it's okay. Do you need expensive gear? No. You need a computer. You need an interface. You need your instrument of choice. So whether that be guitar or MIDI keyboard or just a microphone and an idea. And if you're lacking in certain skills, collaborate with someone. Doesn't matter who it is. Maybe someone you know on an online sort of chat room forum, or a producer like myself. Collaborate with people. Like I said, I can't sing. So any vocals I want to do for my own stuff, I collaborate with someone else. Or yes, I use AI, as we talked about a minute ago. So no, you don't need expensive equipment. Is it nice? Yeah, it's bloody lovely to have some of it. It really is. Is it nice? Yeah, it is nice to have certain equipment which is upper end. Is it necessary? No, not at all. Right, next question. If anyone with a laptop can release music, why do we need you? That's a good answer, isn't it? A good question. That is a good question. Why do you need me? Okay. Say for argument's sake, you might be at this level in your playing ability, and I might be at this level. So you might have the idea, but I can perform that idea. You might only be able to play one instrument, and then I can add all the other instruments to it. So you might be a guitarist and a vocalist, and all you've done up until now is an acoustic guitar and a vocal. But you want a full band on this next song. Well, I can do drums, bass, keys, more guitars, anything you need. You might have an idea, but you've got no actual vision of where that song could go, where it could, what it could become. That's where I step in, because I have that vision. I can hear a guitar vocal song, and within a couple of minutes, I've got it pictured in my mind how big that song could go. Now, some of them, they will be 10 tracks in total. Some of them will be 200 tracks in total. But yeah, I get that idea in my head, and I can take the song idea from a 4 or 5 to a 9, 10. So do you need me? You can do it by yourself. You really can. Of course you need me. The other thing is that it's the ease factor. You might struggle to be playing something. Give it to someone like myself or another producer, engineer, session musician, and they will play that part for you. It takes away the hassle. Hand over a song idea, get back a radio ready release. And in that time, you could have written 3 or 4 other songs. But I don't like the term, do you need me? Because need is needy. It really is. Do you need me? I don't like the term. I want to help you. I don't want you to need me. I want to work with you. I want to create something really special, you and I together. That's what I want. Hopefully that answers that question for you. Right, next question. How do you get the best performance out of an artist? Now, what a question. Wow. Okay. Some artists, when they come in the studio or they perform remotely for you, they're fantastic. They really are. Others get really nervous. They can play really well, but as soon as you hit that record button, they're all over the place. First thing to do, they've got to record to a click track. Doesn't matter what they're playing, what they're doing, singing, guitaring, drumming, keys, whatever. Doesn't matter. They have got to play to a click track. Because that way, everything is locked to the grid. Now, a click track doesn't necessarily have to go click, click, click. You can use drums. You can have a bass and a snare drum playing as you click. That's fine. Doesn't really matter what the sound is, but they've got to play to a click track. Now, with a vocalist, what I found has worked for me really well in the past is you get the vocalist and you go, right, I'm just going to set up some levels. So we hit play. Please start singing. They start singing and they're missing away. And if they catch you at the corner of their eye, boffing away to what they're doing, automatically they feel relaxed. If you're sitting there with a stern face on your thing, arms crossed like this, they will sit there and go, what am I doing wrong? Now, you might be going, why can't I get the level right? Or whatever. You might be thinking about what's for dinner tonight and I don't like that. But if you've got this sort of feel about you, the artist will not feel comfortable. The more relaxed you are, the more relaxed they are. And what I kind of do is I'll say to an artist, look, let's just do a take. Don't matter we mess up. Let's just do a take so we get the levels right. But start to finish. Record it through. Right, let's do another one. All right, can we just do just one more and then we'll see where we go. Do the third one. By the third one, they're doing pretty relaxed stuff, to be fair. Doesn't always work. But more often than not, yeah, that's the way to go. Get them to do 2 or 3 takes, but don't put pressure on them like silence. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go! Don't do it. You put anybody under pressure, most of the time they won't like it. And they will not perform as well as they will if they're relaxed. Relaxation. The more relaxed they are, the easier recording becomes. And to be fair, you will have more fun doing it as well. Right, next question. When starting out recording, what should you buy first? Equipment or do room treatment, etc.? When you're starting out, get a computer. Instrument of choice. Get some closed back headphones, open back headphones if you can. Monitors are nice. But don't go mad. Don't go mad. I use monitor-wise in this room. I've got a pair of PreSonus R65s Mark 1s that I've used for 5 years now. They're not the best sounding speakers in the world, but I'm used to them. I know how they react, how they sound. So I don't necessarily need to upgrade the speakers. There's a couple I've got my eye on, and if the price becomes right, I might go for them. But you don't need expensive speakers. Room treatment. Yeah, to a point, room treatment. If you've got a really echoey room, you need to do some room treatment on it. If you've got a room that just sounds like a normal room, don't worry about it. People get really hung up about a recording environment has to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. It really doesn't. Some of the best recordings, or the best songs out there, were recorded in real crappy rooms. They really were. And you can hear like chairs creaking and movement, and it's not completely dry. It doesn't have to be. You just have to be aware of it and know how to deal with it. If you've got a room that's got loads of low end build up on it, counteract it. But you haven't got to, completely acoustic treatment in a room. I mean, I've got a couple of panels behind my monitors here, and I've got a panel up there behind my guitar. Now, I made those myself. And inside of those panels, there is a wooden frame, and I think it's something like 20 hand tails in there. And that does all I need to do in this room. It really does. Is the room completely treated? No, not at all. I haven't done the ceiling, I haven't done the floor. But I know how the room reacts. So I can deal with that when I'm recording and when I'm mixing. So no, you don't need to do room treatment. So what should you buy first? Equipment or room treatment? Equipment. All day long. But don't go mad with it. With a small caveat, like I said, if your room's really echoey or really boomy, then do some treatment. But look into doing it yourself. It's not hard. I don't do DIY. And my wife and I, we managed to put these together, and they've been up for 6 years now. So, yeah. Don't spend what you don't have to. If I was starting out from scratch today, what advice would I give myself now? Don't be afraid of failure. When I started out, I expected and wanted to be perfect from day one. And it just ain't going to happen. It's really not. Your 100th mix is going to sound a hell of a lot better than your first mix. The more you record, the better you will be at it. When I started out, I probably spent 5 times longer on each song than I should have done. And they are not good. They are really not good. But if I'd done it in a fifth of the time and done 5 songs, that 5th song would have been a lot better than the first song. So don't be afraid to fail. You will fail. You will fail spectacularly. But don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. Actually enjoy the failure and learn from it. So don't be afraid to fail. That's what I would tell myself now. And if you're just starting out, that's what I would tell you. don't be afraid to fail. You're gonna fail. Accept the failure, embrace the failure, and learn from it. Next question. How do you find fresh ideas for every song that you do? That one I'm not sure I can explain to you, because when I hear a song, certainly a basics of a song, I hear in my head where it could go. You give me a guitar and a vocal, and I'll hear the bass line, I hear a drum pattern. I'll go, ooh, it'd be nice if we added that bit of keyboard to it. Yeah, we're going to put background vocals here and there. Yeah, that needs probably 4, maybe 5 guitars on there. And I can do that all within a few minutes, really. I then work on sort of transforming that idea from in my head to an instrument, whatever that instrument might be. Now, it may be that initially I think, oh, that guitar would sound, or that would sound good on guitar. But then when I go to record it, I go, actually, that'll sound better as a Hammond part or something like that. But it's all in my head. The ideas just come to me. I don't think I can explain to you how. I can talk through it, ideas as they come to me. That's not a problem. I can sort of, if we went to say this song for argument's sake. So, it's just literally a guitar. And that melody just popped in my head. It's probably not a good way. And then I'd grab a guitar and sorry, I'm a bit distracted there. I thought, oh yeah, okay, that might work really well for this song, actually. Right, back to where we are. So yes, ideas pop into my head, and I try and transfer what I'm hearing in my head to an instrument. But as to how I explain the fresh ideas, they just come to me. I just get them. All right, next question. If you could only offer one piece of advice to an artist, what would that be? Have fun. Relax and enjoy yourself. Don't take it too seriously. Enjoy what you're doing. Like I said earlier, don't be afraid of failure. Try something. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if you don't try it, you'll never know. So yeah, have fun. It's the only bit of advice I got for you. Or emotional. Emotional might be a better word. Yeah, emotional's a better word. If I could only offer one piece of advice to an artist, embrace your emotion. If you're doing a sad song and the song makes you want to cry, cry while doing it. Don't be afraid to. The song makes you laugh, smile, laugh while doing it. If you're doing a vocal track and it's remembering about great times where you were loving every part of life and it makes you smile thinking about it, smile while you're singing it. Trust me, the audience will hear it. They really will. Again, if you're playing guitar and it's something that makes you sad, let it make you sad and your fingers will relay that into the track. Relax and feel the emotion. Next question. How do you know when a mix is finished? Great question. Because you could tweak a mix for absolute ever. Really could. How do I know when a mix is finished? If I forget I'm mixing it. So I hit play and I'm playing along to it. And without even realising it, I'm tapping my feet, bobbing my head, doing all this. And then I suddenly realise, oh, I'm supposed to be mixing this, but I was just enjoying the music. If it's shouting something to you, talking to you, it's probably done. Quite often I'll be doing a mix and I get to the end of the song and I'll just go, yeah. If I sat there and gone, yeah, why mess with it? I can call that done. Have a checklist. When you're doing your final playthrough, you're listening for any frequencies that jump out, anything that sounds out of place, an instrument too loud, an instrument you want to be able to hear but you can't, anything like that. If you go start to finish and you haven't put anything in your checklist to be looked at, it's done. It really is. Get your volume balance right first, though. When I'm mixing, I'll spend up to 2 hours getting the volume balance right, and that's volume, panning, and usually volume automation. But that's before I put any plugins on whatsoever. But for me, quite often, if I get that right to start off with, the adding plugins and doing that stage of the mix takes half the time. Really does. But yeah, when do you know it's finished is when the song starts singing to you. Then you know you're pretty darn close. Next question. What plugins do you actually recommend buying? Okay, so by plugins, are we talking mixing plugins or are we talking amp simulators? Amp simulators for guitarists, I think that the Scuffum S Gear amp sims are fantastic. And the UAD Paradise Studio is a major thumbs up. Guitar wise, I don't think you need any more than that, to be fair. Keyboards, piano, most of the time I like Noir through Contact, which is Native Instruments. The stock one's okay, it really is. Hammond wise, IK Multimedia be the way to go on that. Rhodes. Well, I mean, there's so many out there. And to be fair, they all sound quite similar. But I heard the other day, I was listening to a song by a good friend of mine, and it had a fantastic Rhodes sound on it. And I asked him, what did you use for that? And he used the stock Rhodes inside Studio One. And I thought it sounded the best Rhodes I'd ever heard. EQ wise, I use 3 EQs as a general rule. I use the stock EQ from Studio One, the I use this one here, Pro EQ 3, or Pro EQ on the new one. I use the Fab Filter Pro Q4, and the only other EQ I actually use is Brainworks SPL. But I use this mainly on the master bus and on the vocal chain. Oh, there is one more that I use. I use the Fat Channel, and I use the Vintage EQ on the Fat Channel. Yeah, 4 EQs. I can't remember the last time that I used a different EQ than one of those 4. And bear in mind, 2 of them are stock. 2 of them I paid money for, but 2 of them are stock. If I was restricted on plugins to buy, I would buy Fab Filter, and I'd make sure I got the limiter, their EQ, their multiband compressor, and the DS is pretty darn good as well. Yes, there's other ones I use, but I use an 1176 compressor, and I'm using the UAD one. I find it works a little bit better for my needs than others, but the other ones are pretty darn good. When Studio One's got 1176 in the Fat Channel, which is there. That one there. That works perfectly fine. Really does. Yeah, for me, the UAD one. In fact, UAD gear is really good. Really good. I was looking, should I buy some more plugins the other day? And I just went, I won't use them. What do I need them for? I've got the Sound Toys plugins, and I occasionally use the decapitator on it. That's pretty much all I use on there. I've used their delays before, but I mean, my go-to delay is the stock analog delay in Studio One. So, what plugins do I recommend you buy? I don't recommend you buy any. I recommend that you learn your stock plugins and know how they work like the back of your hand. And then if you then find they're not doing something which you want to do, then look into buying more. But don't go down the road of, oh, I could buy this one because it's cheap, or buy this bundle, buy 2, get 1 free, unless you want the third one. Just buy what you need. Don't clog up your machine with hundreds and hundreds, thousands and thousands of plugins that you're never, ever going to use. You won't need more than a couple of EQs. You won't need more than a couple of compressors. Reverbs, I mean, you could get away with a stock reverb and an EQ underneath it, And that will do 95% of any reverbs you are ever going to use. Don't buy into the hype of you need this plugin to do this magical thing. It won't do the magical thing. The way to get the magic is a great performance, know what you're working with, or get someone who knows what they're doing. No plugin is going to replace any of those three. I really enjoyed answering these questions. Hopefully you found it useful. If you have any other questions, or maybe something personal to your own setup, or something I didn't quite cover today, just leave a comment below. I'm going to keep an eye on them, and I'll try to get yours into the next Q&A I do. And if you do want to see a bit more of what I'm doing here at the studio, or want to reach out about a project, you can always find me over at stuartstudios.com. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Right. Bye.